Hello and welcome. My name is Biagio Mazza, Pastoral Associate of St. Sabina Parish in Belton, Missouri, and I'm here to welcome you to another Do You Know series question. We continue our series on the Second Vatican Council with today's Do You Know question is, do you know what happened at the Second Vatican Council? So, for most people under 50, the Vatican Council is ancient history. Most of them were not even born probably by the time the Vatican Council convened, and many of them only have experienced the Vatican II Church. And yet, the Second Vatican Council is the most significant event to have happened in the Church for centuries. And so it's important to unpack what happened at Vatican II. And before we begin to speak about the key principles regarding the Second Vatican Council, it's important to look at some of the dynamics that occurred during the council. In preparation for the council, the Vatican officials sent 70 documents to the world's bishops, asking them to look at them, and then the hope was that they would come, vote on them, and there would be a quick council. Since the Vatican had not been open to many of the new ideas and perspectives in the world and the many changes that had occurred, the bishops felt that the documents that they received were totally inadequate in addressing the role of the Church in the modern world and in addressing the new perspectives and new ideas that were evident in the world. And so when they came together, by the way, the close to 3,000 bishops, 2,450 bishops actually attended the council. When the bishops came together, one of the very first things that they did is, in looking at those documents, they actually literally rejected 69 of the 70 documents, only keeping one, the one on the liturgy, as having some potential for good development of a document. The bishops brought with them theologians, officially known in Latin as periti, who would actually do various updating of the bishops during their sessions at the council. Much of this updating was done through conferences, at restaurants, at informal gatherings, in which the theologians exposed the bishops to new ideas, new theological developments, new perspectives with regards to how the Church could engage the world and should engage the world in light of new ideas. And so as a result, what happened was during the council is that two groups developed. You had a group of bishops that tended to be a lot more traditional, that were not open to new ideas and perspective, and felt that maintaining the status quo was the best way to proceed. You had a whole other group of bishops that were open to these new ideas and perspectives and were openly looking for ways in which the Church might engage the world in a more optimistic and more engaging way. And so the tension that existed between these two groups endured for all 4 sessions of the council and would really create very interesting dynamics and very challenging times during the council. This was the first ecumenical council that invited not just Catholics, but also all Protestants, all various representatives of different faith traditions, as well as women. These were seen as observers at the councils. They were not active voting members of the council, but observers. However, their presence really created a dynamic which exposed the bishops to different perspectives and the richness of the diversity of ideas and perspective existing in the world and in the Church. And so as a result, it really aided the bishops in their general sessions, because when they went to their general sessions, they brought the insights that they learned from their own theologians, and they brought the insights and the perspectives and the diversity that existed among the various observers that were present at the council. And this made for a rich discussion and diversity of perspectives. The council ultimately produced documents that were really engaging of the world and engaging of the new ideas and perspectives in the world. It's important to remember, too, that Pope John the 23rd died in June of 1963, and the conclave elected Paul VI, who promised to continue the council, which what the conclave, the cardinals felt had done a good job in his first session and wanted the council continued, and Paul VI committed himself to doing that. The council touched upon all aspects of church life and engagement with other churches, other faith traditions, and the world and the wider society. And so it produced 16 documents which were pastorally oriented, which spoke in the language of engagement, inviting, kind of compassion and understanding and mutual participation in really engaging the world and being open to what the world was all about. All these documents had this pastoral orientation, and the council itself was known as a pastoral council. Many of these documents are available currently online that anyone can read. One of the best translation is this Vatican II document, the basic 16 documents, completely revised and inclusive language translation. I find this to be one of the best translations of the documents. But as I said, you don't have to get this translation. All the documents are available online. So I hope this has helped to give you just a feel for what happened at the Second Vatican Council and what was the result of some of the council. And as we continue our series, what we hope to do is look at the key principles of the councils, primarily the two key principles. There will be the aggiornamento, the updating dimension of the council, as well as the reformability of the church, the question of the church in needing to be continually in process of conversion and reform. So I hope this has explained just a bit of what the dynamics of the council was about, and I hope you will return again to more Do You Know series question as we continue our series on the Second Vatican Council. Thank you very much.